Your one click on the subscribe button makes a huge difference. Thank you for your kind support.
The hit series You is back for its 5th season, and we find ourselves returning to where it all started, New York City. It's a full-circle moment, both for the show and for Joe Goldberg, now a somewhat evolved version of the book-loving serial killer that fans love to hate. Since his twisted journey began, Joe's belief in fairy tale endings has brought havoc to his life and to those around him. His first love was Guinevere Beck, who ended up murdered when her distress didn't quite fit Joe's rescue narrative. Then came Love Quinn, a romantic partner equally as unhinged as Joe, whose love story ended in murder and Joe abandoning their son, Henry, on a doorstep. Later, there was Marianne, a seemingly ordinary librarian who rejected Joe so forcefully that she fled to Paris, later faking her own death to escape him. But this time, Joe thinks he's finally cracked the code for happiness. Now married to Kate, a wealthy CEO with a complicated past of her own, Joe has convinced himself he can be better, or at least better enough. Kate, whose father's evil deeds included pushing false environmental research, has some skeletons in her own closet. But she believes in Joe, or at least the version he's selling. A man who kills only when absolutely necessary. The pair has returned to New York together, bringing Joe's son Henry along, despite Henry likely thriving in his previous setting. Together they cultivate the appearance of an ideal power couple, gracing magazine covers and commanding galas. Kate spearheads her foundation with lofty goals, like fostering literacy in children, and Joe takes pride in playing the part of her supportive husband. Remarkably, he's gone 3 whole years without killing anyone. Of course, not everything is perfect for the couple. Kate's aggressive and sudden initiatives unsettle her company's board, especially after she blindsides them with plans to dedicate a quarter of the foundation's profits to her vision. Instant friction arises with figures like her CFO Reagan, party-loving half-sister Maddie, and COO Bob Buffalo Elliott, who served as a father figure in Kate's life. Then there's Teddy, her brother and chief of staff who was previously ostracized from the family due to his lifestyle. Amidst these dynamics, Joe learns from Teddy that an upcoming Forbes article is set to expose Kate's involvement in her father's shady dealings. It's a solid piece of journalism, apparently fueled by an insider leak. Suspicion falls on Reagan and Maddie, but a deeper dive into Maddie's texts reveals the real culprit, Buffalo Bob. Joe shares this revelation with Kate, but she's frustrated that he acted without her input, although Joe sees it as looping her in after the fact. Still, she insists on confronting Bob about the article. In their heated conversation, Bob accuses Kate of losing her sense of loyalty after marrying Joe and becoming a stepmother. He also hints that he could expose details regarding Kate's involvement in the cover-up of previous misdeeds, such as Reese's death. Realizing she's cornered, Kate turns to Joe for help. In true Joe fashion, he resolves the situation by killing Bob and staging it as a suicide, even sending an email under Bob's name to retract the damning information. However, all of this leaves Joe questioning his identity. If he doesn't have murder as his outlet, who is he really? Finding solace in the familiar, he revisits Mooney's bookstore, now closed but still full of memories and books. It's a bittersweet moment to reclaim his old space. Here, he encounters a mysterious young woman named Bronte, who seems like the latest manic pixie figure in his life. She sneaks into the bookstore claiming to feel sorry for the abandoned books, and with her literary passion and enchanting demeanor, she catches Joe's interest. After some banter about Ibsen, Joe hires her, intending to reopen the store as an antidote to soulless capitalism. He entrusts her with keys to the entire store, well, except the basement, naturally. Meanwhile, at home, trouble bubbles under the surface. Kate, still reeling from the moral graze of her relationship, finds Joe's gruesome murder writings and questions how many extenuating circumstances her husband needs to justify such actions. Despite her protests, it seems like she's more comfortable with his dark side than she wants to admit. As the season progresses, it's clear that Bronte, Kate, and likely several other characters will be drawn into the ever-twisting vortex of Joe's predatory charm, questionable morals, and endless search for identity and validation. By the end of the episode, Joe's new chapter seems destined to replicate his old patterns. The private basement at Mooney's still looms ominously as Bronte becomes more entangled in his orbit. For viewers who know Jo's world, it's clear. She might eventually find the aquarium, from the wrong side of the glass. The bigger question remains, will Jo ever be able to escape his nature, or, more importantly, does he even want to?